Let's talk about another guy that might get called into this squad and probably will get called into the September squad. Just signed a huge contract extension with Cincinnati, and obviously Brandon Vazquez has been completely absurd and out of his mind. First of all, is this the best front three in the league outside of LAFC that Cincinnati has? And secondly, where is Vazquez in his development, and what are the chances he makes the World Cup team?
That's a great question with kind of the attacking trios in the front three. I think Cincinnati are in that elite group. I'd probably put Philly slightly ahead of them, but I don't know, man. Lucho Costa leads the league in assists. Vazquez is tied for second in goals, and Brenner is only a $12 million player from former Brazil Youth International. They've been
and had a horrific first half of the season too.
Yeah,
he's been lights out the second half.
And again, this is why they didn't sell him for 40 cents on the dollar when Brazilian clubs wanted to take him on a free loan because he was struggling and was open to leaving because of this. They saw him as this two striker system, this kind of front-footed system that Pat Nunes playing. That these three together was the idea, and they've been better than they could possibly imagine. But yeah, with Brandon Vazquez, as I reported today, he signed a long-term contract extension. It's through 2025 with a club option for 2026. His current deal was supposed to expire. They had a club option for next season, but that's it. So that's a contract that's a very difficult situation if teams are coming calling and you can't really get full value if you're going to transfer him. Again, I'd be really, really surprised if he's not in this September camp with the national team. And same thing as I was saying with Mihailovic, but probably less so because it's a forward and forwards can just score goals and get in. But if he's not in the September camp, what else could he possibly have been showing that's going to make over September and October that'll make the coaching staff go, oh yeah, let's bring him in. Right now he's playing incredibly. He's been one of the best players in the league. My colleague Matt Doyle called him the best center forward in MLS since Tati Castellanos has left, which is huge praise and goes to his form. And there's a lot of deeper reads about why he's so good, that he's simultaneously really, really good at hold up play and one of the most dangerous off the back shoulder center back, vertical runners in the league in terms of movement and timing and everything. So if he's not on the September camp, what else could you possibly need to see in September, October to give him a chance? Right now, he's got to be. He's just got to be. If you were picking the World Cup squad tomorrow, it's him and Ferreira, and then insert whatever third striker you want, whether it's P-Folk or Sargent or Haji Wright or whoever. I think that Vazquez should have the inside track at this point.
Yeah, and I think with Brandon Vazquez, with his development in his technical abilities, qualities, finishing, his movement this year, he just adds a complete different dimension to anyone else you've almost got to look at with the hold-up play. You've got brilliant talent behind him, brilliant players behind him, and maybe he doesn't need to be banging in the goals like he is at club level to offer a different option and even more for this team. So I think if it's me, it's a no-brainer. He's on that plane, and I'm really happy for him because he seems like his head's in the right place. He's a young kid. He's been doing really well, but he sort of doesn't feel like he's getting to him. He's still got that work ethic and that bit between his teeth. So it's good to see. Good to see.
And his career arc, we spent a lot of time, the narrative for Haji Wright was a really cool one. He was this huge prospect. Dortmund came to watch him, and that's how they found Christian Pulisic, because it was one of the youth national team games. Brandon Vazquez was on that team. Brandon Vazquez, was maybe not quite as the prospect that teams thought Haji Wright was, but he was this big time talent coming out of the U.S. youth national teams. Mexico had him for a little bit. He's still eligible for both the United States and Mexico. But he told Tio Dienez Michele Ginon that he hasn't spoken to anybody from the Mexican Federation, so that shouldn't be a worry. But regardless, he was this really, really big talent, U17 World Cup, coming through youth national teams, and then his career kind of stalled. He left Club Tijuana because he's from San Diego, so that's right next to the border. For those who don't know the kind of geography of the West Coast, California to there, it's right just beneath San Diego, so it's right on the border. So he's an American kid that was going to Tijuana. And then he signed with Atlanta United to start his professional career. Atlanta didn't play him very much because they had Joseph Martinez, they had Miguel Almiron, all these players. Tata Martino was the head coach, who's pretty notoriously a big, veteran player rather than, giving a lot of youth a chance. Goes to Cincinnati. It's not great at first. He's still not getting a lot of chances. That team's a dumpster fire. And then at the end of last season, when the new GM, Chris Albrighton, took over and said, I want to do this like Philly. We need to play a diamond. Just give this a chance. And Vazquez scores 4 goals and has 3 assists in 800 minutes at the end of the season. And then he continues right on with that. So this is all real. This isn't just a run of form. This is who he is now.